Hey y'all, sorry for the delay on this video. I've started to delete the script a few times over the years. I think I've finally nailed down what bothers me so much about this movie. The LEGO movies have the running theme about toxic masculinity. The dad, represented by Lord Business in the original, is controlling and demanding of his children. He has an enormous collection of toys he does not allow his kids to play with because he's afraid they would ruin them. Batman is so scared of emotion that he shuts out everyone. There is a reason he only takes off the cowl for a grand total of 3 scenes in the entire movie. He's using the Batman persona to hide from everyone. Ninjago was just confused. But the theme, where there was one, dealt with an abusive, absent father and showed the effects it had on his son. The thing is, in these first 3 movies, masculinity is never shown in and of itself as a bad thing. In fact, for all of these characters, fatherhood, with its roles of protection and teaching, is shown as a cure for the toxic attitudes of these characters. Being male wasn't the problem, the bad expression of it was. Then we get to the sequel, and it introduces a separate theme, Toxic Femininity. It's surprising just how much this theme was ignored, not only by reviewers and critics, but even the script itself. Now, the way this works, there are 2 completely separate plots. Let's summarize them both. Without the fantastic elements, the little sister wants her brother to play Legos with her. Brother wants to play his dark and edgy setting instead. So the sister steals a whole bunch of his toys to play her game. He loses his temper and yells at her. Mom then grounds them both. They realize, they do actually love each other. And they play together in the denouement. Then, on the fantasy side, aliens from the Sistar system have been kidnapping the LEGO people and destroyed the entire city of Bloxburg. The remaining leaders are captured, and the Queen tricks Batman into marrying her, and bribes the other characters to betray their people. One character rebelling causes an apocalypse, and afterwards, both groups learn to work together. However, the villainous actions of the Sistar characters are never addressed. Queen, whatever I want to be, pulls a Gaston on Batman. She invites him to a wedding without even telling him he's supposed to be the groom. Then, in a Mean Girls level song, she manipulates Batman's jealousy to get him to not only like her, but to propose. The fact that she's never called out on this transparently villainous behavior is just offensive. Then, let's take Sweet Mayhem. After an extended fight sequence, Lucy succeeds in knocking the villain off a ledge, then saves her. Hi, you kidnapped me and my friends, destroyed my city repeatedly, and have brainwashed my friend into a forced marriage. However, I'm going to save you because you're a cute LEGO Friends figure with anime eyes. The discussion following that excuses everything as a miscommunication. I tried to wear a mask and talk tough, a language I thought you'd understand. All we wanted to do is unite our worlds in peace. It seems that they're drawing a bit from the Bugger's motivation in Indier's game. The aliens were aggressive because they thought it wasn't damaging to kill a few drones. The initial assault was considered equivalent to trash talking while challenging someone to a ball game. They simply didn't realize that humans were individuals and killing them was a big deal. However, none of this discussion excuses or even tries to excuse the devastation in the story. The death, destruction, and suffering, the kidnapping and gaslighting. However, after that one paltry excuse, the entire movie shifts to have the villain be Emmett's hyper-masculine future self, turning it into another criticism of masculinity. If anything, the brainwashing song of "This song's gonna get stuck inside your head" was justified in the story. Lucy was convinced that she actually did love Big Brother. Outside of the fantasy, the story puts 100% of the blame on the brother. But why did he have to play with his sister? Now, no offense to my own little sister, but sometimes boys want to play by ourselves. Yes, there is something to be said about spending time together. But the introduction is essentially a preschooler smashing carefully built models. Stealing toys is a big deal to kids, and the fact that she had stolen a substantial portion of his favorite figurines is not only unaddressed, but it's given a free pass. So this story doesn't work either on the fantasy level or on the real level. Worse, the treatment of the queen and sister by the script seemed to be part of a pattern, one I don't like in our society, where women are given a more or less free pass to do whatever they want, and men are vilified for even objecting or questioning it. It's the same pattern that has a woman free to act violently to men, but common wisdom for men is that you do not defend yourself or even call the police, as it will more likely than not end up with you being the one arrested. What's so unusual here is that the toxic femininity is so blatant and explicit that I suspect it's a deliberate theme that they intended to address. But it was excised from the script in multiple revisions, probably to make the story less controversial. However, this is a theme that really does need to be discussed, and I am more than a bit disappointed that it was dropped and ignored to this extent. It makes the film ring hollow, as it raises questions that were not answered, and the climax, while pretty and touching on a personal level, ignored the entire first and second acts of the movie and the themes that they had built up. I have to say, I was extremely disappointed with this compared to the first two movies of the franchise. Thanks for listening, y'all.